Hello. Today is Good Friday. Now, why would we call it Good Friday when it is a day of darkness and death? In some parts of the world, other names are used: Holy Friday, Great Friday, and Easter Friday. It may be that the phrase Good Friday evolved from the name God's Friday, one that was commonly used with the English and the Dutch. Whatever words are used, the one thing that all Christians have in common today is that we are commemorating the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. According to the gospel accounts, Jesus was arrested in the Garden of Gethsemane. He was eventually condemned for blasphemy, and he was sentenced to death. It is this death that I want to focus on today. Our reading today is from Mark 15, verses 33 to 39. The death of Jesus. When it was noon, darkness came over the whole land until 3 p.m. At 3 o'clock, Jesus cried out with a loud voice, "Eloi, Eloi, lema sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" When some of the bystanders heard it, they said, "Listen, he's calling for Elijah." And someone ran, filled a sponge with sour wine, put it on a stick, and gave it to him to drink, saying, "Wait, let us see whether Elijah will come to take him down." Then Jesus gave a loud cry and breathed his last. And the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. Now when the centurion who stood facing him saw that in this way he breathed his last, he said, "Truly, this man was God's Son." My God, why have you forsaken me?" Imagine how Jesus was feeling, abandoned and alone. Jesus had given his entire life to his calling, but his calling included a bittersweet moment, one of pain on the cross. My God, why have you forsaken me?" Jesus uses words from a lament by David, a lament that we know as Psalm 22. Sometimes life as it is calls for us to lament, to cry out in desperation. Perhaps today is a day that calls us to be sad and frustrated. Perhaps this is a day when we should call out to God and say, "God, where are you in all of this mess? Why have you allowed this to happen to me and so many people that I love?" We were not created to be creatures of social isolation, and we have been forced into a situation that is foreign and uncomfortable. We are living in a time of fear and sadness, and if there ever was a time for lament, this is it. There is no better time to acknowledge the pain and suffering in the world on a day when we can be reminded that Christ identifies with our suffering through his crucifixion, a day that we can suffer together. Sometimes it is important for us to just sit and acknowledge the pain and cry out to God. And this is such a day. Today, we may want to immerse ourselves in the sadness, and we may not feel very good at this moment. But the good in Good Friday is what is to come. The good is what is necessary for resurrection to occur. We may need to spend this day in lament, but hold fast and know that the good is yet to come. Let us pray. My God, why have you forsaken me? Oh, my God, I cry by day, but you do not answer, and by night, but find no rest. My God, why have you forsaken me? Where are you today? A day we should be remembering Christ's death with our church communities. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why must the frontline workers be put in harm's way? How can you allow them to take such risks? My God, why have you forsaken me? How will those who have lost their jobs provide for themselves and their families? My God, why have you forsaken me? You call us to care for one another, but how can we do this when we're forced to be alone? My God, why have you forsaken me? We are isolated, alone, and afraid. But you, O God, do not be far away. O my help, come quickly to my aid. Give us rest. Bring us back to community. Keep us and all those who we have concern for safe. Feed, clothe, and house those in need. Show us how to be your hands and feet. Comfort us in our loneliness, sadness, and fear. God, may we know that even in times of sadness and uncertainty, even when we feel forsaken, you are with us, holding us as we cry out, just as you were with your Son on that day of darkness that came over the whole land, and when Jesus breathed his last breath. Amen. So now we watch for the hope that defies despair, the life that defies death, the beginning that defies the end. While we wait, while darkness covers the land of faith, remember that no matter how abandoned we may feel, we are not alone. God has not and will not abandon us. Thanks be to God.